Hello, Wobbly Phil here. Back in the day, most of my mates with proper big bikes were riding around on Triumph Bonnevilles. One or two had Norton Commandos, and they were considered slightly exotic. The bikes, not the riders. If you were truly on the spectrum, you shoehorned a Hillman Imp engine into a Royal Enfield frame. Both of these British parallel twins had a design heritage spanning some 50 years, and to us at least, they were equally magnificent beasts, even though they were, by today's standards, rather agricultural and invariably suffered from the oil leak. Which in those days, although it was annoying, we regarded as the price you paid to enjoy genuine British engineering. I've owned a Commando, and my closest friend in the 1970s had the single-carb version of the Bonneville, the Triumph Tiger, so I know the two motorcycles really well. But which was better? Like deciding who was the better Bond, Sean Connery or Roger Moore, it's ultimately your choice at the end of the day. In the same way, both Connery and Moore were James Bond, both the Commando and the Bonneville were British twins that were popular in the 1970s. They even shared a lot of equipment, like Girling shocks, Smith's clocks, and electrics courtesy of Count Lucas. The Prince of Darkness. Fun fact, your Lucas horn could well have been tuned by Ozzy Osbourne, who worked at Lucas in the Midlands before becoming the actual Prince of Darkness. By 1973, both bikes were even made by the same company, Norton Villiers Triumph, or MVT, which we used to only half joke stood for Not Very Terrific. So, different but similar machines, how can we differentiate them and decide which one is better? Just as the bald facts of James Bond are that Sean Connery wore a syrup and Roger Moore did not, by playing top trumps with the stats we might get a definitive answer. So I'll give each machine a point for winning in 5 categories: number of years produced, top speed, horsepower, weight and price. I'll be using the numbers for the 750 and 850 Commando. Then, as some kind of measure of reliability and longevity, I'll multiply their scores by the number still left on the UK roads, using the excellent How Many Left website. At the end of all that, I'll multiply the score again by the amount in Great British Pounds that the most expensive standard machine of each type is currently going for on eBay. Got it? Good. Here we go, round 1. Number of years produced. The Norton Commando 750 and 850 were produced for about 10 years, as was the Triumph Bonneville T140, so a point each. Top speed. Definitive top speed stats are notoriously tricky to find, so I've gone with the numbers that come up most frequently. The Norton Commando 750 and 850 both seem to be listed as having a top speed of 115 miles per hour. The Triumph Bonneville T140, on the other hand, could manage, apparently, 118 miles per hour. A point for the Bonnie, 2-1 now. I knew plenty of folk who topped the ton on both machines, although a ton 15 or a ton 18 does seem rather optimistic. Horsepower. The Norton Commando 750 and 850 both had a BHP figure of 58 or thereabouts, the 850 having a less stressed engine. The Triumph Bonneville T140, on the other hand, could only manage 49 BHP. So the Commando shoots and scores 2-all. Dry weight. The Norton Commando 750 and 850 seems to be coming in at around somewhere between 420 and 490 pounds. The Triumph Bonneville, on the other hand, is lighter at 414 pounds. Another point for the Bonneville, 3-2. Price. I'm talking about the ride-away price in 1974 here. Again, it's hard to get a handle on a definitive, so these prices are slightly approximate. But in the US, they appear to have been selling for around $2,000, or the equivalent of about £800 back then, so a point each. It's 4-3 in favour of the Bonneville then, at the end of that round. Speaking of points-making prizes, why not try some of our 3 Phil's 2-stroke Smoke Beard Balm? Just hit the link in the description and order a handy pocket-sized tin today. The natural aromas of frankincense, sage and sandalwood will make you as attractive as a 1972 Norton Commando. Next up, which of these 2 British classics has stood the test of time? Still being on the road after 5 decades must be some kind of testament to reliability, durability and desirability. How many then are still on the UK roads? Turning to how many left, I'm going to do a spread of 5 years from 1972 to 1977 to make it more representative. The total number of Triumph Bonnevilles that are still on the road from those years is 247. For Norton Commando, 750s and 850s, it's 270. 247 multiplied by 4 from the previous round gives us 988. 270 multiplied by 3 gives us 810. So the bikes have one final turn before the home straight. Current prices. For this I'm using eBay as it's easiest, so please don't whinge. I'm also including classified ads, which are typically placed by dealers, who tend to charge something like a 50% premium on what you might expect to pay at auction. Here we go. What is the most expensive Bonneville and most expensive Commando I can find? For the Bonnie, I found this advert for a superb condition 1976 Triumph T140 US spec at £8,450. For the Commando, this advertiser wants £12,995 for a 1975 850 fastback in red, white and blue. So multiplying the prices by the previous points, that gives us a grand total of £8,348,600 for the Bonnie and £10,525,950 for the Commando. I'll divide by 1,000,000 so I can fit those figures on the screen, giving us final scores of 8.348 for the Bonneville and 10.525 for the Commando. And there you have it, the Commando trumps the Bonneville, a deserving victory for the Norton. And indeed, I personally prefer the Commando by a country mile for wobbling around the country miles. As long as it's set up right, compared to the rattly old Bonneville bone shaker, it'll pull like a train, make mincemeat of the twisties, and put a grin on your face. Whereas the Bonneville is more likely to cause your dentures to drop out. I hope you enjoyed this slightly pointless exercise in point scoring. Speaking as someone who gained a grade 6 in Maths O-level, just one up from a fail, it's given me a bit of a headache, so I'm off to lie down in a dark room with a wet towel on my face. Meanwhile, I'd be grateful if you'd consider liking, subscribing, commenting and sharing to let YouTube know we're doing something right here at 3 Phils. Thank you.